Hello, everybody. This is Shamir, and I'm testing out this live stream that I'm doing via Zoom. We will see how it goes. Hopefully, some of you will tune in. The East Coast, it's 11:45, so maybe someone will catch this stream anyway. I guess I don't have to record that actually because we're already streaming, so let's see. Yes, have a little pen here. I can make notations. So this is the introduction to Devarim. It is part one. There is a second part to this. Just to show you some interesting things in the book and also how important the language is. It might not seem that way, especially if you're used to just reading English, but you really are missing most of the Bible with the English text. So, and it's not really just Hebrew that we study in scholarship. It's Hebrew plus almost all Semitic languages associated, like Akkadian, Aramaic, Syriac, because sometimes we have words in the Hebrew Bible that only appear one time, as a Tanakh, or two times, or just a very limited amount of times, and we don't know really what the meaning might be. So we search through some other Semitic languages to see if there are related words. So there's really a lot to it. So I hope that you enjoy this and get something out of it and do your own research. Just remember, this is only going to be maybe about 20 minutes. So this is enough to get you started. Anyway, let's begin. If I can get the arrow to work, that would be great. Can get to the next slide. There we go. So I do remember this. At one time, this popular book, Bible Code, had come out, and at that time I was young and I didn't really know much about. I mean, I read my Bible regularly, but didn't have much knowledge because the lack of the language again. I mean, because the Bible is a much bigger world than what we understand it to be. There are maps and different time periods and connected to other stories, or like King David and the time period. But this is an actual time period. It's not something that somebody really made up in their head and just decided that they're going to write. So anyway, so Bible codes, hidden information with letters placed in fixed intervals in the text. So the theory has some basis in fact, at least within the opening verses of each of the 5 books of Moshe, or the Torah, which includes the book of Devarim. So here we have in the book of Bereshit, or Genesis, we have the word Torah spelled out in fixed intervals of 49 consonants apart. So the first word is Bereshit, which is also the name of the first book. And we have the Tav on the end, would be our first consonant. So remember, like the scribe wrote this text, and then within the text and the arrangement of words, they were able to also encode words. So it's really a work that really can only be done by the Spirit of God. And then with Bereshit, there is a note up here. We have the word bara, Bereshit bara is just an added note. So this is only God can bara, or to create out of an unknown substance. Unknown substance. But in the word Bereshit, in the beginning, we have the word, or at least the consonants also for bara. Bereshit is actually not definite, even though we give it a definite article. there's no definite article in the word. It's really like in a beginning. Anyway, so moving forward, and we count 49 consonants, we come to the word tehom, which is the deep. So in case you don't know, this is a tav, and then a vav, we just say vav. And then we count 49 letters again, and we come to vayar, and he saw, or vayar Elohim, and God saw. And we have a resh. And then we count 49 letters again, and actually we come to the word Elohim, which is always in the plural, by the way. There is another word El, which is singular, but normally we see, a lot of times we see Elohim, and it's in the plural form, and then we have a Hey. So we have Tav, Vav, Resh, Hey. It gives us the word Torah. Okay, 49, again, 49 intervals apart. Okay, so then we see the same phenomenon appears in the book of Shemot, which is names, also the name of the book of Exodus, where intervals of 49 consonants spell out the word Torah. In both Genesis and Exodus, the sequence begins with the first parashat reading and also the name of the text. So since we're heading into Yom Kippur and Sukkot, and then after Sukkot, we begin again at Bereshit. So Ve'ele Shemot, and at the end of Shemot, and then just so you know, the singular form is Shem, name. This is the plural form, names, Shemot. So we have a Tav, and then we count 49 letters, and we have Vihuda. We have a Vav, Tav, Vav. We count 49 letters again, and we have Yerech. We have a Resh, and then we have Hahu, and we have a Hey. Again, so Tav, Vav, Resh, Hey, and we have the word Torah. And then we come to the book Vayikra, the situation in the book of Leviticus, just the center of the Torah, slightly different. The divine name, Yud-He, Vav-He, is spelled out here in intervals of 7 letters. The sequence also begins at the previous two. The previous two books with the title of the first parashat, so Vayikra, it's the name of the book and the first parashat that we read in the book. And the divine name falls into the middle of the sentence, which contains 9 words. So the book in the middle of the Torah, and then we have the divine name in the middle of the first sentence. So we have Vayikra, and he called. We have Yud. You can say, I say Yud, but you can also say Yod. Moshe, so Moses. We have a Hey, and then we have the divine name right in the middle, and then we have a Vav. And then we have Me'ohel, from a tent. Ohel is tent, and we have the Hey. So Vav, Hey, and Yud. Hey, Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. There is something to all of this, but anyway. So here we have the divine name spelled out in code, and the first sentence of Vayikra in the middle of the Torah. And so we go to the book of Bamidbar, and we have the word Torah spelled in reverse. So, and it's with 49 consonant intervals again. The sequence is maintained. It does not begin with the name of the book. However, it begins with this central figure, a significant figure that we are acquainted with in the Torah, and that is Moshe. So we have the Hey on Moshe. We have Mitzrayim, so we have a Resh. Mitzrayim is Egypt. Shemot, so remember we have Shemot twice, the book of Shemot or Exodus, and then we have Shemot here, and we have the Vav, and then we have Otam, them, with a Tav. So we look backwards, Tav, Vav, Resh, Hey, Torah. And the book of Devarim or Deuteronomy, this fixed sequence is spelled out again backwards, but the occurrence or the intervals between letters is only 48. The word is also spelled in reverse. And we begin with the word Torah, HaTorah, the Torah. And we have a Hey. And then 49, and we have Bahar, we have a Resh, on the mountain, Bahar. Ba is on the, and then Har is mountain. And we have Uva Negev, so we have a Vav. The Negev is south. Natati, I gave. So we have our Tav. Go backwards, Tav, Vav, Resh, Hey, Torah. And thus the words selected include, it's just a summary, the Hebrew letters that spell out Torah and Genesis and Exodus with 49 consonants. The central book of the Torah, Vayikra, spells out the divine name in intervals of 7. And Numbers and Deuteronomy have the Torah sequence but in reverse. Also noting the book of Deuteronomy, the interval between letters is only 48. So these are all the places where we find these sequences spelled out. And we're going to see that the observation or noting the appearance of Shemot or names, and both B elements. So when I say B elements, I mean here, Shemot Otam, their names. Oops, spelled that wrong. And then the Ele Shemot, and these are the names. And both of the B elements in the centric structure. And then we have something that we're getting into a little bit of geometria. We have the divine name numbers. So 26 and 17 are coded into the Hebrew text of the Torah in many different ways. It was memory of this phenomenon that led medieval Jewish mystics to know that the divine name was woven into the very fabric of the Hebrew text. Here, the divine name Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh appears precisely in the center of this structure in the book of Leviticus 1:1, where the divine name is spelled out in fixed sequence in which each letter is separated from the next by 7 other letters. Okay. So move this little floating thing to the bottom. All right, so the number 26 is found by simply adding up numerical values. So we have that, kind of type that out here. So we have Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh. Yud is 10, Hey is 5, Vav is 6, and then another Hey. So we end up with 26. So that's the divine name. Was that divine name number is why we call it the divine name number of 26. Now we have the divine name, but spelled with an aleph, because this is actually, when we look at Exodus 3:14, where the divine name is revealed and defined. So Yahweh reveals his name, the first person singular form of the verbal form of his name to Moshe. So we have an aleph. So this is I am or will be. So aleph is 1, Hey is 5, Vav is 6, and then another Hey. So we end up with 17. So 17 and 26. And we end up with the word kavod, because glory has the same numerical values as the divine name, the I am of the divine name. So Kaf, and you see there's 2 forms. Kaf is 11. Remember we said Yud is 10. Kaf comes after Yud, so 11. Bet is 2. Dalet is 4, and we end up with 17. Or because there is another numbering, so Kaf is 20, or Kaf Aleph would be 21. Kaf bet would be 22. So here kaf is 20, bet is 2, dalet is 4, and we end up with 26. So we keep running into these divine numbers. Really amazing, actually. All right, so let's go to our next slide. We can, there we go. Just gotta move this thing again. All right, so the intimate connection between the divine name, Yud Vav He, and glory, kavod, is demonstrated in the story of Exodus 33:17, where Moses asked God to show him his glory. So Vayomar Har'eni na et kevodecha. So, and he said, show me, please, or now, your glory, kevodecha. The cha on the end is the second masculine, singular you. And then kevodecha, so kevod, oops, that doesn't belong there. All right, and then Yahweh answers Vayomer, and he said, Ani a'avir kol tuvi al panecha. So, and he said, I will cause all of my goodness to pass before your face. I shall make all my goodness pass before you, and I shall pronounce in your hearing the name. So the Karati Vashem Yahweh. So, and then you can look that up yourself. Really muted, you guys. All right, moving forward. So now we kind of want to look at a synopsis of all of those verses that we read, because they actually create their own little story. The arrangement of words may also be read as a hidden message. So Bereshit Tehom Vayar Elohim. So this is the first verse. We have the English. In the beginning, there was a primal ocean, Tehom, and God appeared. And these are the names for Ele Shemot. The next one, Vihuda Yerech Hahu, and Judah is the base of the menorah. And you can look up these scriptures yourself. Vayikra el Moshe, Vayedaber Yahweh elav, me'ohel moed lemor. So, and Yahweh summoned Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. Vayedaber Yahweh el Moshe, b'midbar, Mitzrayim, Shmot Otam. So Yahweh spoke to Moses in the wilderness, their names. And then the last one, Elea Devarim, HaTorah, Bahar, Uva Negev, Natati. These are the words of the Torah, which I have given you on the mountain and in the Negev. Okay. And then this probably looks scary, but I'll try to make it unscary. So divine name numbers are used to build the text of Devarim, but it goes further than that. Remember, this is only like a real small synopsis of what's taking place, or these hidden messages, quote unquote. So this is just Devarim verses 1 through 5. Okay. So, but there's more, a lot more. All right. So this is arranged like before Atna and after Atna. So Atna is this little mark, and you see it here. You might have to enlarge your screen to see it, but it's there. So the counting is matching up, like verse 1. The verses like are generally broken up. So like you have verse 1a, 1b, because you have different parts in each verse. So it's not just one long connected verse. It has different elements to it. So the verse 1 before the Atna and verse 2 before the Atna are matched together numerically. So verse 1a, I put Aleph, but it's really A, and then 2a, you see here. So in verse 1, there are 10 words because we're counting words. And then in verse 2a, there are 7. We end up with 17. And we don't always end up with these divine name numbers in every verse. But here we do, we have 17, okay? Then after Atna, so this is before. And this one is after. Okay, so in this, so we have one bet, but it's 1b and 2b. So verse 1b and verse 2b. So in the first one, you have 12 words, and then in 2b, you have 3 words. So you end up with 15. Okay, so then we go to verse 3. So we have 3a. So this is before Atna. So we have verse 3a and then verse 4a together. So in verse 3a, we have 8, and then in verse 4a, we have 9. So we do end up with 17 again. And then verse 3b and 4b, verse 4, second part, and verse 3, the second part after Atna. We end up with 11 words for verse 3b, and then 8 for verse 4b. So we have 19. And then we want to see the total. So the total for verses 1 through 4 before Atna is 34 words. And after Atna is 34 words. And so we end up with 68. And then 4 times 17 gives us 68. So we have the divine name number of 17 prominently in those verses before the Atna. And then we have verse 5 by itself. So we have 4 words and 6 words, and 5 A and B. So we get 10. So for the total of verses 1 through 5, we end up with 38 words before Atna and 40 after Atna, which gives us 78. And we end up with a divine number 26. So 3 times 26 is 78. I know it's kind of like a little bit of a brain twister, and you'll probably have to watch this part a few more times. But anyway, so the book of Deuteronomy is a numerical composition in which the divine name numbers 17 and 26 are carefully woven into the fabric of the text at all levels. And as though the scribes of antiquity were saying, God, or Yahweh, or Yud-He-Vav-He, and in his glory, Kavod, because remember, 17 and 26 is present in this text. If you have eyes to see, for these are the words, Eli Devarim, of God. There is something with this phrase, because now you have to be, have your mind open to when Yeshua says this, like the Sermon on the Mount. I'm going to talk about that a little bit on the next, whoops, if I can spell. Sorry, my handwriting is terrible, but Yeshua uses this phrase. And so in knowing what it means now, Eli Devarim, these are the words. We'll get more into that next time, but just keep that in mind. It's just something important to keep in mind. All right, and this is actually an actual map of the book of Devarim, or Deuteronomy, before the Israelites crossed over. So you see the wilderness of Haran, some of the Kadesh Barnea, maybe. Sometimes we're not exactly sure. Yerushalayim, Heshbon, Jericho, and so on and so forth. But we have there's a more clear map on part 2. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy this and get something out of it, and understand that you need some of the language to understand the Bible. To think that you can understand it with no study whatsoever, that is it's a very humbling journey to learn the language and unlearn all the things that you've learned, because you have to see the Bible in a whole different perspective. Anyway, that's it for me today, and be blessed, everyone. Till next time. All right. Bye-bye.